Good, appropriate time of the day to you, friends and enemies. Oh no, my camera. Work camera. As you can see, I am entirely professional. You on? Yes, there we go. It's a fishman. Yes, flying through space is a fishman. How are you all doing today? I am Richard, and this is LMTDTMFFR, highly professional gaming here at limited time offer, no vowels. So, how limited and offer timed vowels are you today? I hope you're doing well. I am doing well on this, what looks outside to be a very rainy day today, or at least an overcast day, which threatens to rain a lot. Still, there we go. What you gonna do? Perhaps as a fishman, it will benefit me. I don't know. What are we doing here today? Well, we've been doing point and click every day this week, so I thought, I don't want to do another point and click game on Point and Click Sunday. So we've got a choose your own adventure game, which is obviously radically different and entirely outside the scope of what point and click is, even though I guess I am pointing at a thing and clicking on it with my mouse. Is point and click actually a useful genre now, given that most of what you do in a game is point on something and click? Probably not. It's not a great descriptor. But hey, that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to change the descriptions of things that you enjoy. I'm here to play games badly. And possibly complete them. I don't know. Possibly finish that sentence in another manner. But let's switch over to this game called the Innsmouth Case, which I haven't really looked at. I have it in my thing, and I thought, yeah, I'll do a choose your own adventure, despite the fact that I have like 30 or 40 choose your own adventure games. Well, no, that's probably an exaggeration. 10 to 15, probably, not 30 to 40, that I do know about and have played before, but, let's do this weird one I haven't done. So, without further ado, over to the game screen. Why are you not up there, game? Are you up there now? He said, yes, awesome. But you can't hear the exciting music. Now you can. And here we have a variety of different things. We'll just go into the new game. I have started a game just to check that it worked. And by that I mean I looked at the first paragraph. We're fans of the strange world of Innsmouth, but we recognise the problematic beliefs of H.P. Lovecraft. This game has been produced by a group of people who believe in inclusion and equality. Good. Good for Root Pumpkin Games and Assembly Game Entertainment. Your progress in this game will be saved at the end of each chapter. There are 35 chapters in total. At the end of the chapter, the screen fades to black and a green save icon appears in the bottom right of the screen. I recommend you always end the game after such a save point to make sure none of your progress is lost. Lost at 21st September. Oh, we're not going to get a year. Okay. You must raise the sunshine, filter through the blinds into your empty office. The pathetic stench of whiskey, cold cigarette smoke, and canned ravioli fills the air. The screeching tires and constant beeping of car horns out on the street tells you it's gone 8 p.m. People are on their way home, finishing their day. You should join them. I should also... I could have sworn I had done this. Turn the volume down a bit. I'll turn the text speed up. I'll do that as well. Alright, thanks a lot. Did that actually turn it down in any way, shape or form? Because it doesn't sound any different. There we go. Alright. You decide to stay at your desk or to go home. Well, a big decision right now. I mean, the fact that there are lots of car horns beeping outside, I don't know why that means it's gone 8 o'clock. Surely it would be earlier than that. 5, 6 o'clock for the rush hour. Let's stay at our desk and, while away the night. We haven't got anything to go home for. Possibly. The day was long and frustrating. Running out of ideas how to handle the calls of people who want money from you. Cold shiver runs down your spine as you flick through a pile of unpaid bills. Top of the pile is a reminder from your landlady. You're 2 months behind on the rent. The next one is a 3-figure invoice from a games company for in-app purchases. Trying to claim them as business expenses in your last investigation. But somehow your client refused to pay. Then there's the second reminder from your internet provider threatening to cut off your connection. You might take legal action because without the internet you can't work or live. I guess then we're in present day. That would make sense. You really need more in-app purchases. Your lawyer, a cigarette, a little fresh air. I mean, I've said I'm going to stay here at my desk, so getting a little fresh air would seem ridiculous to go outside at this point, because I could have done that just going home. So let's have a cigarette. Told me the idea of a cigarette when you catch a glimpse of an unpaid bill from your doctor. Maybe you don't need a smoke after all. I was going to say, oh, we're in America, but we already know that because of Boston, Massachusetts, in your office. And that bit that is just off of the screen to the side there. I don't think I can pull the book and look at anything. I can't roll the dice or do anything else, so breathe a deep sigh. It may not have been a successful day, but at least it's over. You're looking forward to a classic Friday night, watching old mystery series at home in sweatpants and getting drunk on cheap booze. What mystery series do we think? If we assume it's real world. Glumbo? Murder She Wrote? Diagnosis Murder? I guess the Rockford Files? They're mysteries, but not murder mystery sort of things. Matlock! No? None of those? Probably couldn't pay for the rights to put the name in, anyway. It's the early afternoon you've been staring at the foreboding bottle of liquor at the other end of the room. Until now, a vague sense of professionalism has kept you from drinking yourself into oblivion. Now nothing stands in your way. Suddenly you hear somebody at the door. It could be somebody wanting bills, or it could be a client. I think I can talk my way out of it if it's the landlord wanting bills, so we'll say, who is it? The door slowly cracks open, with a timid creak. The unknown guest pauses, then in a breathy, melodic tone, you hear a woman utter, hello? Your insides cramp. You suddenly realise that you haven't cleaned your office at all this year. And it's September? Wow, okay. You quickly try to clean up. Invite her in. Come in and see me at my worst. By the light of the desk lamp you see more than a silhouette. A breathtaking woman lights up your office. I don't know, older than 40, maybe even 50, hard to say. Clad in black, skin-tight dress. Skin-tight dress culminating in a décolletage that seems to defy the laws of gravity. Is she clad in a skin-tight black dress, or is she clad... I guess she's got the beret, so she is clad in black. Dash, a skin-tight dress culminating in a décolletage that seems to defy the laws of gravity. Smoky eyeshadow, as dark as algae, washed ashore. Blonde, coiffed, wavy hair under a dark beret. The faint light of the setting sun catches in the strands of her hair, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned during her prime. She's completely different from your usual customers. Nurse bankers with sweat stains under their armpits, convinced their wives have something going on with the mailman. Every move she makes is calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks towards you and sits down at the corner of your desk. Alright, smooth as an eel, fine. Determined, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of your desk, which is a little bowl, which makes you blush. I'm a crumpled old detective who's fallen down on his luck. Makes me blush. Which makes you blush. Never before has a visitor parked their derriere so skillfully on the corner of the desk. You hope that the cigarette butt the stranger just sat on won't leave any difficult stains. The dress looks expensive. When she starts talking, her voice is smoky and full of promise. My name is... Dahlia Marsh. I'm looking for a private investigator. I'm told you are one of the best. Is there perhaps another one floor up, that you should be going to, lady? She extends a hand. Kiss her hand. You've come to the right place, lady. Decline. You've come to the right place, lady. What can I do for you? You sit back in your chair and fold your hands over your stomach. Woman seems a little irritated that her provocative behaviour seems to have had no effect on you. Well, I mean, I would have, said, you've come to the right place, lady, and then kissed her hand, shook it, whatever, but, those weren't the options. She moves from the edge of the desk and sits down on the chair opposite you. Yes, I... As she continues to speak, smoky seductiveness creeps back into her voice. My name is Delia. Dahlia! I'm going to keep calling her Delia, because I'm just going to mess that up. Delia was the name of the character in The Omen 4, the girl who was in that. Is she a deep one? Well, I mean her voice is. Apparently. No, she had a high melodic voice, so maybe not. She probably is anyway. Ask for more details or decline. Turn her down right now and end the game. Tell me some more. It's about my daughter, Tabitha. She has disappeared. You're pulling out paper and pencil. This is going to be a walk in the park. A walk in the kidnapped kids park. Well, when did you last see her? And where? One puts on a fake smile. We live in Innsmouth. It's a small port town north of Arkham. I mean, she is a marsh, and the marshes are traditionally deep ones, but who knows? You frown. This is a bit vague. What was your child doing when you last saw her? What hobbies does she have? Oh, kid stuff. They just run around and play with the yo-yos, that sort of thing. I recommend going in undercover as a vacuum salesman. Go Electrolux! Delia nervously combs her hair through her head. Does your daughter have any friend? Yo-yos? What about her father? What does your daughter look like? I think I'd like to know what she looks like, first of all. She's only 8, the sweetest girl you can imagine. She's been missing without a trace since last week. None of her schoolmates have seen her, and no one knows where she might have gone. She hands you a photo. Look, this is my little munchkin. Alright, we had some sort of dramatic close-up for some reason there. Good heavens, is this supposed to be a joke? Is that really the face of a child, or a shadow photo edit? Are you being filmed as some part of a reality TV show? God, I'd hate to be on camera right now. A bit of stomach acid and the last bite of lunch. Slowly but surely make their way into the back of your mouth. Really? Are we supposed to think that that child is unattractive and ugly, are we? That is all children, pretty much. That is what they look like. You, throw up in the drawers of your desk. Swallow it. I'm not going to barf all over the client who's right here. Swallow it down. With narrow eyes, you swallow the bile. You involuntarily pull a face. Dahlia continues to look at you hopefully. She obviously didn't notice your little mishap. That was close. That could have been unpleasant. I'm so desperate. Her eyes lock with yours. Don't you think there's something strange about your child? No, I don't care. I'll ask more questions about the case. I don't think she's strange. Did anybody else think she's strange? I thought she just looked like a kid. Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. So yeah, tell me about her friends. I mean, you mentioned her friends. But they haven't seen her. Does your daughter have any friends she might be staying with? Classmates? Sports club members? Anything like that? Dahlia shakes her head. Very strange. You're about to ask if the girl at least had imaginary friends, but you hold back. Alright, tell me about her father. Tabitha's father. Are you separated? Often children reappear with family members. Dahlia smiles sadly. My little one can't swim well enough for that yet. Your pen remains on the same spot on the notepad. What was that supposed to mean? Oh, who knows? Certainly not me, who understands, who has read some of the Lovecraft fiction. Dahlia is about to continue. No, let her babble. Dahlia turns her gaze away from me and looks dreamily, no, longingly, out the window. Her father was a fisherman, like most of the village. A few years ago he went out at sea but never returned. His boat was washed ashore weeks later. His colleagues told me that he had finally followed the call of the waves. Keep quiet for a moment. These family members are always a sensitive subject. My sincere condolences. She seems calm. Oh, somehow, I always knew that moment would come. I think my husband is in a better place now. At some point, I'll join him. Take a closer look at Dahlia's outfit. Judging by her behaviour and clothes, you would never have taken her to be a fisherman's wife. You inquire about more details of the case, or Dahlia's financial situation. I think I need to know more. I mean, I need to get paid. So, financial situation it is. Forgive me for asking, but what do you do for a living? Dahlia's jaw tenses. I work in Innsmouth's tourism department. Why do you ask? For a widowed single mum, you dress surprisingly well. The fact that you're using the word mum there, I mean, that is not an American word. Or that is not used commonly in the American vernacular. I was thinking from earlier things that this was a translated work and that the people weren't native English speakers. But now you're using the word mum, it sounds like you're actually English, because that is a very English turn of phrase. And it seemed like someone who was handing out holiday brochures. Let's say how surprisingly well you're dressed. For a fisherman's widow and single mum, you're surprisingly well dressed. Either the tourism industry is more lucrative than I thought, or your husband was quite well insured. Take a theatrical break. Or is there another explanation? Dahlia smiles uncertainly. My family is wealthy, old money, and some kind of local nobility. I don't understand what this question has to do with my missing daughter. Well, she could have been kidnapped for ransom. There was a competitive glint in her eyes. Dirty money might well be connected to your daughter's disappearance. I mean, I would have gone with what I said. But we'll have dirty money. It's none of my business where you get your money from. But if the source is rather unorthodox, it could be related to your daughter's disappearance. Peer over the desk to take her in a little better. Your face is serious and impenetrable. Inside your head, you're in a Humphrey Bogart. It feels incredibly cool. Dahlia's smile remains unchanged, but one of her eyelids has started twitching. Nervousness, perhaps? Or do your questions make her angry? No, I have nothing to do with any illegal business. You lean back. Right, Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. I mean, alright, I'll ask about yo-yos, but this seems a bit silly. Hold on, yo-yos? Ring ring, can you hear that? It's the 90s calling. They want their outdated toys back. Dahlia blushes. Normally you would find this quite attractive, but the case of a missing girl beckons. You are utterly unconvinced by the way this woman pretends to be a mother. She remains silent. And we're going to confront you. Something's fishy here, and it's not just the kid. You have a nose for this sort of thing. That's why you became a private investigator. Or, to be more precise, that's why you took an online detective course that, for a one-off fee, provided the necessary qualifications. It's time to take your visitor to task. You look at her closely. Why did you come to me? Has your daughter really disappeared? I don't want to press too badly on why did you come to me, because she said I was one of the best, so I don't want to pull on that thread. I want to believe in my delusions that I am one of the best. The best that online, college, community, take course, credit-related things can buy you. Has your daughter really disappeared? Oh, look, change in animation. Simply can't help questioning her further. Her story simply doesn't wash. That's exactly what your instructor warned you about. Sticking to your principles. Dahlia's mouth becomes even more pinched. Something you didn't think was possible. I resent this insolence. Of course she's disappeared. What do you take me for? You stare at one another. The only sound in the room is the roar of the rush hour traffic creeping in through the window. Dahlia's face remains motionless. I see. You have neither evidence nor arguments to back up your suspicions. She still seems angry, but she also seems desperate and dependent on your services. It's your choice. I don't know that I've got more questions about the case, so I'm tempted to ask those questions. I guess I'm going to accept the case. I mean, if I reject the case, does the story still go on? There's no way of saving, and I don't want to go through all of that again. I mean, I could just click through it really quickly, but I think I'll accept the case. You nod. A missing persons case. Nothing unusual. Conventional little girl runs away from home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide at the edge of a forest, or in a library. Should be pretty straightforward. Will you say anything? She drops a photo of the child and a roll of bills on your desk. For your expenses. Nod slowly, trying not to drool down the front of your shirt. Haven't seen this much money in ages. Don't have much time to prepare. A quick search reveals that only one bus goes to Innsmouth. Only once a day. Pattern emerges in your research. A few news items related to this coastal town are all about missing persons. In addition, find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The best fish, untouched beach promenade, authentic fishing people are the recurring buzzwords. Dahlia is giving you the address at which you're supposed to drop off her daughter as soon as you find her. She also writes down her phone number on the child's photo. Take another look at the picture before you pack your things. Next morning you travel by bus or by hitchhiking. Well, I mean, again, that child doesn't look so out of the ordinary, particularly with this style of art. But alright, I mean, perhaps it's the big eyes that are meant to make you think she's weird. Next morning we'll be travelling by bus. I think we should hitchhike our way in. I don't know. On the bus you will definitely be noticed coming in, because the bus driver will presumably gossip about you. Hitchhiking, I guess it depends on who picks you up as to whether or not they'll tell anybody. Could be better, could be worse. We'll go by bus, all the same. Ah, the end of a chapter. Now we're at Buston bus station. Journey begins at a busy bus station. There is supposed to be a bus line that departs from here to Innsmouth. Buses, you think to yourself, are not only an environmentally friendly means of transportation, they're also easy on your wallet. Sadly, the departure boards aren't of much help. New York, Maine, Rhode Island, no trace of Innsmouth as the destination. You wander around for a while until you notice a cleaner eating a sandwich on the side of one of the vending machines. You look around, talk to the cleaner, continue searching on your own. Hey there, buddy, do you know where the bus to Innsmouth is? Excuse me, where can I find the bus to Inns? Without letting go of his sandwich, the cleaner points to the abandoned counter at the dingiest corner of a public bus station. Could be capable of. And he gives you a nod, indicating that anything that can be said has indeed been said. You find that the counter is elaborately decorated with cobwebs. It's a bit early for Halloween preparations, but at least someone's made an effort. At the moment, nobody seems to be there. You press your face against the plastic window to peer into the room behind. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? I have to go to Innsmouth. No one there. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus ticket appears on the counter. Might the trip be free? Well, it still doesn't tell me where to go. Should you leave a payment? Nah, I'm just taking the ticket. I don't have that much money. I have many bills. I need to go. Yoink! In all likelihood, the ticket was already on the counter and you simply hadn't noticed it before. Someone must have paid and left it there. That's what you tell yourself when you're looking at the departure gate with the ticket in their hand. Where's the bus hiding? In between the polished greyhounds and travellers stowing their luggage, saying goodbye and dropping tiredly into their seats. There's a kind of dumpster. A dumpster with windows and wheels? No, it's actually a bus. A bit on the rusty side, and even from a distance you sense the strange smell it emits. Is that sulphur? You're not convinced how this thing is supposed to drive. In its vicinity, everything is noticeably quieter than at other bus stops. People getting on show no sign of emotion. Nobody is trying to jump the queue here. Instead, the passengers move past the bus driver at uniform speed, one after the other, shuffling up the creaking steps. Each two-seater bench is occupied by individuals, as if they want to make sure not to come into contact with their fellow passengers. The sign clearly says Innsmouth. No departure times, no stopovers, just Innsmouth. Undecided, you're standing at the stairs of the bus. Talk to the driver, show your ticket, sneak past in silence. Well, let's at least show our ticket, since we stole it. You hand the driver the ticket. No reaction. At least, you can't make out a reaction. The lighting is poor and the shadow on the dusty driver's cap covers almost his entire face. You notice something strange on his neck, but you can't quite make out what it might be. You're standing in the door waiting for an okay, a nod, anything. Sulphur odor has increased. Queues formed behind you, but no one is pushing or complaining. People wait quietly and patiently. Get out of here! Say something. Just keep walking. Let's follow the social dictates and just keep walking. Shuffle sideways through the centre aisle. And remember the bus looking this long from the outside. Surrounded by shabby two-seater benches. Some are already occupied. One traveller per row. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery is torn in some places though. Has it been slit open? You can see springs with sharp wire edges and some sticky fluid seem to have leaked onto the floor. Why don't you just sit down in one of the free rows here at the back? Why didn't you just sit down in one of the free rows? Here in the back, almost everything is occupied. Yeah, why didn't you? Is that because of a decision I made? Most of the passengers seem to have purposely sat down in the aisle seats, blocking off their window seats. Maybe this is an opportunity to get closer to the common Innsmouth visitor. Alright, I'm not sitting in the rear bench with its springs and, well, I don't know, if somebody slit it. Maybe there's stuff hidden in there. Did I make a decision? How unprecedented. Indeed. Indeed. I mean, that is the only way in which this goes forward, that I have to make a decision. But now I am indecisive again. Let's go to the rear bench. See if there is something in the seats at the back. He's always been the cool outsider. At least that's what you tell yourself. So you take the back row, which you have all for yourself. The ride won't take long, will it? You should pay a little more attention to the map. The smell of sulphur rises in your nose again. You sit down carefully without tearing your clothes on the wire springs of the seat cushion. Suddenly a jolt. You can't balance and you're pressed into your seat by a most mysterious of all invisible forces. Gravity. The bus starts without any warning. Because of the abrupt start, a bunch of yellow paper has rolled across the dirty floor right in front of your feet. Pick it up. Look at that, a newspaper. Innsmouth Illustrated. From April last year. Now useful. No, we're going to read it. According to the faded sticker, the subscriber of the newspaper is a certain C.G. Jung. Is that a reference I don't get? The Innsmouth Illustrated actually offers a lot of entertaining articles. All these features and listicles give the impression at the end of this trip you'll find yourself in an adorable, up-and-coming tourist metropolis. A real insider tip. Well, well. Now, let's keep reading. Ah, Carl Jung. Yeah, maybe. You decide to read every damn article in this paper. Preparation is everything, as you know. And apart from that, you're bored to death. You find out that Innsmouth has a boardwalk and that even a beach bar was opened last year. Finally, you discover the crossword puzzle, which turns out to be quite difficult. Quite a lot of fish-related turns. See you later, what? Yep, you've got that one. You get stuck on making pastries, but with H, or toll road. That's too difficult for you at the moment. You throw the newspaper in the corner. Finally, your eyes closed. The rest of the ride, you sleep peacefully. I don't know either of those. Making pastries, but with H. Pastries? I mean, presumably it's pastries and H mixed together to come up with a new word, but I don't know anything. A toll road? I mean, we don't really have those anymore here in Britain. I mean, I suppose there is motorway toll at the moment. Or it was thinking about being introduced. I don't know if it was ever actually introduced, because I don't drive, so I don't know that. I don't pay enough attention about that. And see you later, what? I don't know that one either. I guess this is the humour, possibly. This might be the humour. The bus leaves the country road and turns off at a wooden sign that says Innsmouth in red flaky letters. The journey continues rather bumpily along a narrow dirt road littered with numerous potholes. In the distance, some houses are already visible, seagulls circling the roof of the outmost edge of the city. Slowly, all passengers take their bags out from under their seats and get ready. Curiously, you look through front window or the side window. Let's look at the side window. That's odd. The bus passes by a huge... What is this? A scrapyard? Parking lot? Why would something like this be right outside the city? You pass another wooden sign whose half-peeled writing advertises the Innsmouth Park and Ride area. A lot of cars look like they've been sitting here for years. Sand covers some of the bonnets and windscreens. So you can check out any time you want, but you can never leave. The front door of the bus opens with a squeak, and you join the monotonous line of locals, stepping out of the bus as if in a daze. I don't think they're monotonous. I think they're zombie-like, which is not quite the same thing. Almost walking in step, you all get closer to the exit. As you walk down the steps, you have to protect your eyes from the sunlight. Turns out the windows of the bus were tinted. The other passengers shuffle off. Ooh, that was the end of a chapter. Or at least I think that was the end of the chapter, that's why the save was there. Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while stretching your legs to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. Clear blue sky lights up the town, which is paved with bright limestone and surrounded by neo-colonial buildings reminiscent of 19th century New England. Fresh sea breeze, crying seagulls, and locals going about their business. In the center of the square, water trickles from a fountain. As you stretch your limbs and breathe in the clean air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous fish-like brass creature. An open jaw lined with shark-like fangs spouts brackish water down its massively inhumanly contorted body. As if that wasn't enough, there appears to be human body squirming underneath its massive claws. Their faces are contorted as yours is right now. How long have you been standing here? Eyes wide open in shock, you feel utterly paralyzed. You start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner you spot ornamental statues of reliefs of fish. These are not your classic harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevices of the sea. Oh, I think I skipped 2 there, by mistake. Surrounding houses, you can see faces pressed against the window. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think of the cries of the seagull sounding particularly human-like. Sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few moments ago? Welcome to Innsmouth. Turn around or ignore it. Well, for right now, I'm going to ignore it. And now that I've had a drink, I will turn around. Welcome to Innsmouth. How nice of you to visit. A small elderly woman waves at you from afar. She beams at you as if you were her long-lost grandchild. She seems very different to the bores you've met so far on the bus into town. Squealing shakes you out of your nightmarish panic. It's good to have you here. I've noticed you're taken by a local fountain. It's built in 1704 by Abel Necrotis, favourite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tillinghast, the founder of Innsmouth. The central figure was a present, and it's supposed to commemorate their travels together to Cairo. You can clearly see the Egyptian influences in Necrotis' work here and here. She points wildly in every direction. And here. But I'm sure you've already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows his way around art, she says with a wide smile. You're still in shock. Tillinghast has nothing to do with... it's Charles Dexter Ward as well. So they're just mashing everything together that they can. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. She beams at you. Who the hell are you? Of course. I'm an art historian. Can't you tell from my rumpled clothes and the way that I have no money? Yeah, I'm not just going to say, who the hell are you? I'm an art historian, of course. She enthusiastically starts clapping and squealing. A small plump person in a garish costume who finishes off all her sentences with a delighted chuckle. Oh, I noticed that at once. How rude of me. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Muriel Pooping Place. I'm the Director of Parks Commissions, Chief Tourism Officer, and Head of the Welcoming Committee. Ta-da! Does that mean that you employ the lady whose name I've forgotten? And a child whose name I have forgotten also? I don't even know her name. This is going to be difficult to find someone. Behind Muriel, there's a ramshackle wooden information stand, lovingly decorated with balloons. A colourful painted sign reads, "Welcome to Innsmouth." Muriel tiptoes over to the information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from the rickety display cases. She looks down at all the papers in her arms and briefly shrieks with laughter. My goodness, why don't you take this city map to begin with? Useful. Oh, useful. You take the map and put it in your coat pocket. Would you like to find out more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years in a row? And would you? I mean, I'm an art historian, but I'm looking for a little girl. I'm going to anger the old woman by deviating from her script. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Here I am! Small plump woman starts giggling. Innsmouth welcomes you warmly. So you're looking for someone? Not that uncommon. But two lonely hearts to find one another in this romantic place. Muriel winks at you. I'm going to mention the missing girl. I mean, I am very interested in just keeping this up, but I want the missing girl. Gee, I'm looking for this girl. It's always about a girl, isn't it? Tabitha March. Ah, I remember. Yeah! Her name was Delia. Yes, I've remembered that. No, it was Delilah. Well, you know, names. As I've always said, tell me your name, tell me exactly where you are. I will forget about you and never ever find you. Anyway, Tabitha March. Marsh. My God. 8 years old, my mother asked me to take on the case. Really, take out the photo. Photo. And hand. Muriel immediately rips it out of your hand. Oh, what a cutie. I'm sorry, but I've not heard anything about missing girls. How awful. This sort of thing doesn't happen in Innsmouth. Perhaps you could have a look around at the beach or the playground. Lots of kids around here. I'm sure that's where the little one will be. With an unnaturally wide grin, she hands you back the photo, turns around quickly, and makes her way over to accost another tourist family. I mean, it's been 8 days. 8 days. Is she still playing at the beach? No. You head further into town along the cobbled road in the direction of the coast. Not long ago, the sun was brightening the sky, but already the first wafts of mist are creeping into the streets. The air feels thicker, and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down. You lean your briefcase against the wall and start pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city centre is to the north. Even from afar, you can see the outlines of the old and ornately decorated buildings in the main town square. Here you should find the police station, the main shopping centre, the main shopping street, and of course the town hall. As a coastal town, Innsmouth also has a harbour. From your research, you found out that this is a bustling area with a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Gilman Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could deal with freshening up and getting rid of the bus smell that's still clinging to your clothes. Just as you're about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. Usually take good care of the little thing. Of the little you possess. There's nothing you can do about this now. You have to wait until your return journey to find out whether someone has handed it in at the lost and found. Still, you could swear the briefcase was already gone when you got off the bus. Very friendly of the Gilman, indeed. But I just had it! Did I not? I was just leaning my briefcase up against the wall. Is that not what was just said? Am I having memory problems? Within the game, not in... I know how memory problems outside of the game. Don't worry about those. You decide on the city centre, the Gilman Hotel, the harbour. Let's go and see the very friendly Gilman Hotel. You recognise its roof from afar, and after a long walk, it is now before you in full splendour. The Gilman Hotel. At least it's easy to see that it once must have been a glorious building. The hotel resembles an old English country estate, but in its present state. What? Why would you end the sentence there? It would be better suited as a setting for a very predictable film about teenagers and chainsaw killers. Wild and withered ivy has a firm grip on the walls and obscures the details of the richly decorated facade. A gallery of gargoyles, melted into unreal shapes by acid rain and acidic pigeon droppings, line the roof. The many window panels have been neglected for years. Only in a few places has a small area been wiped clean in order to see outside. There are 2 cars in the parking lot, a vintage car with a large rust spots and a very large grey van. Kind of van you've always been worried about as a child, or warned about it. No, we'll inspect the cars. You look around again just to make sure that the people who own the cars aren't hiding somewhere with their shotguns at the ready. The coast is clear. First you walk over to the antique car. Well, you're not a car expert, but the car looks antique to you anyway. Most seats inside are made of white leather. A bit tacky. You turn away from the antique car and look towards the van. No writing on the side. Regular registration plate. The windows in the front blanked out. Hang on, you have a brainwave. Maybe this is the van in which poor Tabitha has been pulled when she was kidnapped. When she was lured to her fate by sweets and lollipops. I mean, randomly guessing that is as good as any, I guess. That sounds like utter nonsense. All of a sudden you realise how absurd this theory sounds. Maybe you would actually solve the case if you did some real investigating, and just hang out around parking lots. Stealthily you look around. After admiring the old car one last time, you walk back to the hotel. You really hope the inside of the hotel has been looked after a little better than the outside, but you're quickly disabused of that notion. The massive wooden door is difficult to open. Shouldn't the staff be doing this anyway? With a loud creaking sound from the hinges, and exhausted puffing and panting on your part, you manage to open the door and enter the lobby of the Gilman Hotel. You wonder if the guests are even welcome in this place. Well, we'll find out with their very friendly things. I guess this place never got any Yelp reviews. Nobody would ever check out. They'd never be able to conclude their booking at this place. The room is sparsely lit. There are impressive chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, which, if working, would perhaps not quite give the grand hall back its original splendour, but at least convey more warmth. Your first steps tell you that there are rotten floorboards hiding underneath the thick carpet. The green wall panelling and wallpaper almost also appear rotten and musty. I made that same joke. You can check out any time you want. Sort of wet. So, if Delilah works for the Innsmouth Tourist Board, then presumably she lives in Innsmouth. So, does Tabitha not live in Innsmouth as well? No, this is a funky sort of case. Anyway, there's no way I'm checking into this mouldy dump. I'm gonna check into this mouldy sinkhole, you say out loud to yourself, like a normal person would. Words ring through the building, a slowly fading echo. Nobody walks up to you to complain, or to persuade you to give another place a chance. Strange. Better get out of here, you say out loud. Must be something better than this hotel. Time to go and look for Tabitha. So, I mean, let's go to, well, if she was looking for her daddy, maybe she would go to the harbour. Maybe she doesn't believe her daddy's dead. Maybe she just wants to go down there and talk to people to learn about her daddy. So let's go to the harbour. Innsmouth Harbour is signposted much better than the local hospital. I wonder if a hospital is even needed here. It's a half-hour walk. A mile-long carpet of cobblestones is now ahead of you. Traffic in Boston is more hectic, but at least they have heard of asphalt before. As you keep walking, there are fewer and fewer residential buildings along your path. In their stead, there are now warehouses that must be fish markets due to the smell. You can also hear the occasional metallic clank from nearby workshops. People in grey raincoats are walking towards you. They're probably fishermen who have some errands to run. Now and again, in a split second when you pass one another, you catch a glimpse of their faces hidden beneath their hoods. The puffy eyes that look at you suspiciously. Although there are a few clouds in the sky, there's no chance of rain so far as you can tell. Why are they all wrapped up like that? You wonder if they have a sixth sense for approaching storms. The sound of rhythmic blows of a hammer nearby tears you away from these thoughts. It'd be interesting to watch the work in the shipyard, but little Tabitha is unlikely to be here to play. From a distance, you can already see the masts of the boats, which rise up into the sky like a row of spears. You walk along the small street at the quay, with the harbour basin just behind it. Let's look around rather than breathe in the deep sea air. Breathing in the air will not get me closer to finding Tabitha. The view of the harbour is splendid. Boats of all shapes and sizes are coming and going. Nets are being emptied out. Fish seem to be endlessly splashing into huge freezer boxes. Local trades are being sealed with handshakes, and at the end of a wide headboard a huge lighthouse watches majestically over the bay. An ideal postcard motif if it weren't for those people. If it weren't for the people. Not those people, just people in general. You only know fishermen from the movies. You have to admit they have a certain prejudice. These include: they have weather-beaten skin, and the captains always have well-groomed beards. They're either strong, silent types, or hard-drinking lads who sing filthy sea shanties. But these creatures in front of you are neither majestic nor leery. They move around more like tragic hunchbacks. You'd expect to see. Oh, they move around more like tragic hunchbacks that you'd expect to see in French cathedrals. A few yards to the right, there's a fork in the road, and a sign pointing further north. Its inscription reads, Innsmouth Paradise Beach. In the far distance, you can see a building that looks like a church. Hang on, a church? On the coast? How eccentric. Really? You go to the beach, to the church, to the lighthouse, which wasn't mentioned. Let's go to the beach. I want to see this idyllic paradise beach. Alright, okay. That green thing means save. Alright, so I want to go back to the main menu for right now. Progress in this chapter will be lost. I don't think... Alright, I want to look. Right, I'm on the beach. Beach, Gilmore Hotel, Homer, City Entry. Okay, so those are the things. I can't remember what these are. I think that's... Right, don't want to delete that. Right, we've done 17% of the city of Innsmouth. Select a location. Harbours, the beach, Gilmore Hotel, and the bus station. Alright, okay. So, let us... And that is achievements, right? And yes. 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. Have got none of these. Select an unlocked ending to learn more about it. Presumably, these are all endings, and there are 8, 16, 24, 27 endings then. Oh, that one's a shark eating things. There's a skull underneath the sun, and a Cthulhu-ish thing. Alright, well. Alright, well, we'll continue. At the beach. The beach. The screeching of seagulls. An endless white. Well, brown. Okay. Fine grey beach. And the sound of waves. Clean? Well, potentially clean water. The algae are way too dense to really tell. You walk on the sand and move a little closer to the waterline. Curious about what you might discover there. Though the sea is not stormy. The tide is low. Innsmouth Beach is not really a type of touristy place. Everything is simply too grey. This is what you associate a real... This is what you associate with a real vacation. Sea, cocktails, television. Not television. Really cocktails either? Because you can have them whenever, and I think there were more parties. Which, I mean, admittedly, you can go out and party there with on a vacation, but I see that more as a big sort of happy birthday at a pub sort of thing. So, sea. I see on the horizon, the ocean looks limitless. Rhythms of the water, the rhythm of the waves is hypnotic. Spending time here is much better than visiting the dive bar next door. In the future, you should make day trips to run-down coastal villages more often. Lost in thought, you keep wandering over the dunes. Notice how the colours of the sea and the beach seem to be swallowed up by the strange light conditions here. Hold your hand up in front of your face. Your skin looks grey and matte. But that's not my name. But still, you feel relaxed. The murmur of the sea invigorates you. I think this is supposed to be set now. Because, I mean, we've talked about in-app purchases. And, oh god, what else was it that made me think it was modern? I forget. But something else made me think it was modern as well. So, you know, modern times. Although I think they're just going to be fuzzy with the what is and is not on during times, etc. You feel a deep sense of longing within you. serene sense of inner peace and freedom. Until the techno music starts, a monotonous beat. The sound seems to come directly from the beach bar a few hundred yards off in the distance, which appears to be surrounded by about a dozen people. Given the changing weather, it's perhaps no surprise. What else is one supposed to do on this beach apart from drink cheap cocktails and dancing to bad music? Something strange grabs your attention. Kind of cage standing in shallow water, perhaps 12 feet wide and deep. I suspect we're going to get eaten by sharks if we go to the cage. So, to the cage! Thanks to the low tide, you're able to get close to the strange object. The sea has retreated into the distance. The cage stands there, looking strangely lost. As you approach it, you take off your shoes and socks. Turn your trouser legs up a little. Finally, you stand in front of the cage. There is a visible line on the cage about 3 feet from the top. The metal on the top half looks quite stable. The bottom half must normally be submerged in water. Slimy black algae winds around the metal rods. What's strange to you is the position of the cage. It's the size of the cage. I mean, the size of the cage could be for multiple things. It's the position that is weird to me because it's right up here, up close and personal. If high tide goes as high as that, then wow, that is a problem. Very strange. The dunes are not that far away. On your way you notice that this is part of the beach that usually remains untouched by the water, so even the high tide doesn't get to it. You must have only walked 50 yards. Even if the tide comes in, you think that the cage will never actually be completely submerged in water. Isn't that the point of these things? You start thinking about lobster cages, and then shark cages. I mean, no, I started at shark cages. Lobster cages never even popped into my head. So you find here. You linger for a bit, and then back to the sandy part of the beach. The cries of the seagulls are increasingly drowned out by the early 90s techno beats. One note even, that's all some people need to enjoy themselves. One note in an endless loop. The owner of the beach bar has taken great pains to make up for some of Innsmouth's deficits. The bar is made from wooden planks and features a nice countertop on an exotic canopy made from palm trees. Admittedly, the palm trees are no longer green, they're grey and dried out, just like as if a demon had sucked the life force out of them. And it's easy to imagine that all of this must have looked quite pretty once. But only once. The bar is flanked by wooden bar stools, and a few meters away, towards the ocean, 2 rows of deck chairs have been put up so that people can get drunk while lying down. From a distance, the bar looked busy, but now as you arrive, you realize the party is already over, if it ever did take place. A dozen people hang out here. A few surfer dudes stagger about like zombies. Some of them carry empty cocktail glasses around. Some of them yell "Party!" and "Woohoo!" enthusiastically. Precisely. Those kind of people. Guy with long hair and sunglasses nods his head in time with the techno beat and taps along on the bar counter with his flat hand. There's no bar staff in sight. One of the tourist families you had spotted on the way here is spread out on the deck chairs. They're evidently trying to keep away from the party. You look around. I need more information from the locals, so we're going to go sit at the bar. You follow an instinct and sit down at the bar. This place reminds you of your favourite bar in Boston. Only that here there's sand on the ground instead of vomit. You feel at home. Some hippie is poking at the slushy fruit remains in his cocktail glass. And a straw. Oh, with a straw. He nods over to you as you sit down. Alright. This is clearly not his first drink. Where's the bartender? Just relax. Let's try and get a bartender. Where's the bartender? Stops poking his fruit in the glass around and pushes his bandana into place. Dunno. Things were really happening. You get me? And Zeke took off about an hour ago, and since then, no booze. Besides, it's the kind of sigh you might expect to hear from a war veteran. Why would somebody simply leave a busy beach bar? A bar with an unattended supply of alcohol. Something is not right. Wait for his return or take up one of the deck chairs? Let us take up one of the deck chairs. Can't hurt to just rest for a moment. Need to be able to resume your mission, full of energy. Yeah, whatever. Most of the chairs are free. All offer excellent views of the sea and the increasingly cloudy horizon. Your sport for choice. Of course, you're going over to where the other tourists are. Of course, that's why I'm here, to talk to the people. Why not? Maybe you'll be able to learn their language if you spend some time around them. It's one of the families who were already noticed a few times today. Happily chattering parents who are constantly eating and their chronically bad-tempered children. It's hard to miss. The four are hard to miss with their loud chatter and tasteless tourist outfits. Settled down on the deck chair, sipping on some soft drinks. Clear your throat. The international sign for "Hello there, I would like to say something. Please engage me in discourse." What are you going to ask them? I'm looking for this girl. Do you know what the cages are for? Nothing. To hell with them. Hi, you've been in this town a while. I'm looking for this little girl. I'm looking for this girl, you say. Show them a photo of Tabitha. Parents bend forward and squint. Bend forward in order to see the parents bend forward and squint in order to see the little face better. Nope, sorry. The father says and goes back to sipping his fruit juice. Nope, me neither. The wife adds. Nothing then. Well, what if you ask the children? The children might have seen another child around. Yeah? Just a weird idea. What are you going to ask them? Do you know what the cages are for? Strange frame, alone in the water, in the middle of nowhere. You have to keep thinking about it. Do you know what the cages are for? Asked the parents. Oh, those. The father's face lights up. We've just taken some photos of them. I think they're for children to climb on. They're not meant for children, his wife chips in. That's how people here catch lobsters and whales and things like that. Oh shit, the son murmurs. He pokes the sand with a wooden branch. Probably imagining he's stabbing someone. From the Middle Ages, when people were put there to drown. Aw, kids. What are you going to ask them? Nothing. To hell with them. Nothing. To hell with them. Who are you kidding? You decide to lean into your antisocial side. You get comfortable on the deck chair. The incoherent chatter of the family remains merely static noise in the background. Not too shabby. The clouds drawing together on the horizon worry you a little, but they're far away enough for you to simply enjoy the moment on a beach. Technically, would have been near a beach the whole time, but you couldn't really switch off. There was some haunting sense of danger, feeling of paranoia that you couldn't simply shake off. Luckily, paranoia has gone now. A cool sea breeze caresses your face as you tune out the other tourists' annoying conversation. You listen to the murmur of the waves. The regular to and fro of the sea has a soothing effect on you. Your eyes fall shut. It's cold, you're freezing, which is annoying because you had settled down quite comfortably on one of the deck chairs. You could swear you'd noticed a shadow while half asleep. The figure who tried to grab you and carry you away. Was that all a dream? A chilly wind blows on your face. Oh, damn it. This case is going to be the death of you. You simply lie there as if dead. Your attempts to return to a more comfortable position are punished by a stabbing pain in your behind. Some bit of the chair is digging into you. Probably a cheap model. Damn tight asses, you mutter weakly. Push yourself into an upright position. The sun is now set. All the other holiday makers have gone. They're freezing their asses off. They're probably sitting in a warm hotel by now. The moon illuminates the beach on the waves that shimmer in an eerie green glow. Green? Nature sure is fascinating. You stretch your tense necks. You've only got one of them. You stretch your tense neck when you notice some lights off in the distance. Night has fallen, and with each passing minute, it seems to get chillier. Lights appear to be moving, and are leading away from the town. I wonder whether you should take a closer look at the spectacle, or go to your warm hotel. Well, I mean, I haven't checked into the hotel, so let's go towards the beach lights. Why not? The day is almost over anyway, and maybe you can at least manage to figure out what the lights in the distance are all about. You trudge through the sand, then you notice that the lights that you were heading towards are moving. They don't stand still, but twitch back and forth. Hang on a moment. You're on a beach. It's night. Weird blinking lights. What about it? This is clearly a rave, a UFO sex cult. I mean, my first thought was a rave, but then you say a sex cult, and I'm not sure there is much difference between the two. I don't think it's a UFO sect. It's a rave. That makes sense. The only question is whether they'll let you join the party or not. Raves have always been a favourite pastime of yours or not? They're a favourite pastime of mine. Why not? Strange staccato movements and colourful glow sticks. I've been a fan of things that move quickly and emit light, just like most cats. That's why rave parties have always fascinated you. You hurry along. You've arrived. Somewhat indecisively, you stand on a sand dune and take in the spectacle. There are 20, maybe 30 people who have gathered here on the beach close to the waves. You can see they're naked under the rags and nets they're wearing on their bodies. They are performing a sensual and seemingly uncontrolled dance while waving glow sticks in the air. The masks that the people are wearing seem familiar from film and television. Distorted faces with angry mouths and ugly, googly eyes. Reminds you a little of voodoo, but here on the coast of New England? I'm not quite sure anymore whether you are a rave party or an actual exotic fertility, which, as I said, not much difference. The acoustics are bad. Instead of the clear techno beat, people here rely on singing. You can do with rehearsing though, without any sense of rhythm. The people are chanting the same refrain over and over again. I, Cthulhu, Fatagan. Watch, take part, leave. I'm here for the rave. Let's go take part. The whole point of holidays is doing crazy things you normally wouldn't. And besides, nobody here knows you. But I'm not on holiday. I'm here on an investigation. Doesn't matter. I'm on holiday now. You sneak up to the group of dancers and attempt to seamlessly blend into the chaotic spectacle. You are lucky. In the midst of the rags that most people are wearing, your detective outfit doesn't particularly stand out. You're just another freak among many. Get swept up in the ecstasy of the dance. Your thighs tremble. Your arms wiggle about. You throw back your head and join in the local chanting. Yeah, yeah, Sully Frogs. You enthusiastically imitate the chant. A few glow sticks have been dropped during the dance and lie abandoned in the sand. Alright. When you bend down to pick one of them up, you realise they are not disposable glow sticks at all. An algae. Glowing algae. Keep dancing cheerfully. I mean, there is glowing algae? It's not a thing? I mean, that's not an unusual thing? Past the bizarre mask with swollen eyes, which, up close, look more threatening. A bit scary. From a distance, the horror part of the show would have completely escaped you, but he seems to be shifting on to the next phase. Dancers now stop their ecstatic movements and stand still with their stretched arms facing the ocean. Silence. Complete silence, apart from the monotonous murmur of the waves. Then, you make out another sound, a strange hissing. Another group of amateur actors join the dancers. They come straight out of the water, wear costumes more suitable for Halloween than a rave party. Greenish scales cover their costumes. Or is it professional makeup? Their scaly skill costumes look super real, muscular, clumsy, and much too long arms extended like claws. The heads are a mixture of dumb-looking fish and a deadly grizzly. Whoever came up with this mask seriously needs to see a therapist. When the first masked creature reaches the group of dancers, you realise that these guys must have seriously trained for this gig. All of them have bodies you can only get through years of hard physical training and guzzling down loads of steroids. They're also stark naked. You tilt your head involuntarily. Some things on bodies are quite difficult to replicate. even with paper mache or plastic mould. You know this from your own Halloween craft endeavours. It's even more difficult to make these things move and react authentically. It takes a lot of willpower to tear your eyes away from the sight. The dance group seems to welcome the newcomers warmly. They mingle. Each of the costume giants seems to know exactly with whom they wish to spend the evening. It does not take long, and every party guest is paired up with one of the fish creatures. Apart from me. Really? No? You stand off a little to the side and watch as they explore each other's body. They start to... Whoa! Okay, this party is definitely X-rated. Brave choice for a tourism entertainment program. While you're still gasping for air indignantly, the couple's already rolling in the sand, groaning with pleasure. Only one of the costume giants has not yet found a partner. His milky eyes fall on you. Uh-oh. He stalks over to you on his long legs. With his claws, he points at himself, then... With one of his claws, he points at you, then at himself. Oh no! No, thank you. Yeah, why the hell not? Get over here. Get over here. Why the hell not? Get over here, you say, and you open your arms. What follows is private, and definitely not R-rated. You are fascinated, no, thrilled with the fish mutant costume. Things you like best are the universal sex organs, the full lips and long tongue, the soft but deadly claws. Indeed, costume. I mean... Universal sex organs, why not? Alright. Not only does it have very useful universal genital parts, the costume also feels pleasantly warm to the touch. The stranger tries different things until you find something you both like. Admittedly, it is already quite dark. The whole thing is running smoothly. You sigh contentedly and feel understood. Why did you come to Innsmouth again? Achievement unlocked. It must be a mask. That was wild. When the deed is done, you lie in the cool sand in your partner's enveloping embrace. All around you, the other couples do the same. Then you look at the green hue of the starry sky. No words are needed. The man in the fish costume only makes hissing and bleeding sounds. But you have a deeper connection. This is rare. You feel at ease. Maybe the first time in your life. Time flies much too fast. The rave party is over. Both of the dancers from Innsmouth start walking back towards the harbour on shaky legs. So your parting is near too. You try to give him your phone number, but he plays dumb. He snarls, shuffles towards the ocean. Guess when you think you've found someone with whom you can live out your animal instincts, that person decides to worthlessly disappear into the sea. Typical. I mean, we all know that holiday romances never last, so... You watch thoughtfully as the head disappears between the waves. You're not 100% sure if you use this day to the fullest, considering the reason you actually came here. Neither are you sure who the guy and his friends were, and why they showed up in costumes to an orgy, and, well, some other things also remain unclear. With a sigh, you pat the sand off your clothes, make your way to the hotel. The hotel that I didn't check into, that I didn't really enjoy. Alright. Okay. And 1 second, I want to go back to the main menu, given that we just did that, yes. And I want to have a look at the achievements again. Is it this one? Yes. Okay, so these are only endings, and not achievements in general. So there are 27 endings. I would guess, if there's 8 per thing. Interesting. Alright. Did I finish the previous game? Did I finish the Barrow yesterday? The excavation of Hobbs Barrow. Indeed I did. You can watch it on Catch Up or VOD or whatever, and it will be up on the YouTube channel in a week after I played it. But back to the hotel where we are staying the night, apparently, in Innsmouth. Darkness has befallen Innsmouth. Old-fashioned gaslights illuminate a few patches of the dark alleyways, but generally it doesn't look as if the town planners were too fussed with providing adequate lighting. Some streets are completely plunged into darkness. You struggle more and more to find your way around. Was this awful gargoyle already here earlier in the afternoon? Or you're in the wrong part of town altogether? When you're almost about to give up on your search for the Gilman Hotel and resign to finding a cozy spot somewhere on the curb, you sit in the outline of the hotel roof. Luckily, the hotel is set apart from the misshapen nearby tenements. The Gilman Hotel is an architectural masterpiece. Although, right now in the dark, you can't make out many of its stylistic features. The hotel majestically rises 4 stories above the rickety house that surround it. Sea of leaves glint in the side of the moon. Must be ivy. An empty parking lot makes you think that the hotel must have some rooms available. You feel like you've been followed for a long time. Growing paranoia and constant glancing over your shoulder, you would forget all of this very soon. You follow the path leading up to the entrance and come to a standstill in front of the massive oak door. Your hand touches the cold metal handle. You press it down and pull, but to your surprise, the door doesn't open. It's interesting that the parking lot is now empty when there were 2 cars there before. No hotel seems shut. Ring the doorbell or look for another way in. I don't want to wake everybody up. Let's look for another way in. You walk around the property. Metal bars in front of the windows make it impossible to simply climb inside. But you had at least hoped to find a lit window from which you could knock to make yourself known to someone inside. They won't even let you give one of the night shift staff a good scare. All the rooms inside the hotel appear to be in complete darkness, including the foyer. No one is working. No one is having a drink at the hotel bar. The whole building seems to be completely shut down. I'm going to keep walking around the hotel. Walk around the whole hotel, still hoping to find a lit window somewhere. No such luck. Soon you're back at the entrance. It's hard to believe such a thing can be possible these days, but the hotel really does seem to be closed. No one is allowed in or out, for that matter. Do the guests know that they're being locked in the building overnight? Will there be another gormless tourist in an hour or 2 trying to get in just like you are now? Not actually your problem, you remind yourself. Turn around, leave the hotel behind you, and walk back to the street. Well, so now I'm downtown. Alright, you wander the streets. Dark clouds spread out from the sea, like claws that almost reach for the town. Reach for you. The sun has set, and the temperature is dropping fast. The air, too, gets cooler, and a rough wind whips through the alleys. You're lost. You have no idea how to get out of this godforsaken town. As if that weren't bad enough, you also underestimated the September weather on the coast. And the real cold temperature is still yet to come. Scattered raindrops do not bode well. You aimlessly wander the streets. The narrow alleys are a labyrinth of simple wooden fisherman huts. At least you're not completely on your own. Look at that, even at this late hour, there are groups of people out patrolling. With torches and pitchforks? And knives and nets? Walk towards them or stay in the shadows? Why, good day to you fine people. I am a fellow person of Innsmouth. I have just forgotten my net and pitchfork. Please let me join your group. As repulsive and dangerous as they might seem with their improvised weapons, you've never been someone who judges a book by its cover, especially not when you're cold and sleepy. Before you reveal yourself to patrol, you think again whether you should prepare yourself in some way. You can't think of anything in particular. Cover up your face, or don't do anything else. No. Good day to you. I'm not going to do anything. You'll be alright. The people of Innsmouth sometimes behave a bit strangely, you admit. But there's no reason to become a paranoid oddball too. Without a disguise, but with a winning smile, you'll walk up to the small group of townsfolk. There! There! Screams the front man of the group. An old fisherman with a white bushy beard waves his torch in your general direction. His friends limp towards you. Their rags and rain jackets and rags flap. Their rags and rain jackets and rags flap awkwardly against their body. Aya! 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 Vertagen! Considering they're a limping horde of deformed lunatics, they managed to surround you quickly. The light of their torches dancing in the rain. The light of their torches dancing in the rain makes their already scary faces look even more bizarre. Nervously, they lick their bulging lips while they stick out their torches, knives, and pitchforks to keep you in check. You wonder if the people of Innsmouth suffer from radiation poisoning. It would explain so much. Hey, you there! The leader almost spits at you. A wolfish grin spreads over the man's face. With his arm free, he makes a few hasty gestures, and suddenly you can feel the grips of strong hands clasping around your arms. You stare into the strangely deformed, elongated pupils. We are going to have fun tonight. He's looking at someone next to you. Before you consider what the hell is happening, something hits you against the back of your head. You lose consciousness. Town square. Freezing cold. Cthulhu Protagon? They're just making it up. They might be. I know I certainly am. Freezing cold. Voices. Whispering. Arguing. Raindrops that roll off your forehead. Your forehead, not your fort head. A forehead. I don't know what a fort head is. Alright. A pungent smell of fish that you have almost gotten used to. Damn it! Your cheek is pressed against something cool. First, after the first moment of disorientation, you realize you are lying somewhere out on the street. You open your eyes. The situation is not new to you. On several drunken nights in Boston, you've ended up near a trash can on a dodgy side street. This is all too perfectly normal for you. You groan as you raise your head, and immediately regret moving. All you can feel at the back of your head is pain. You have no doubt you were knocked out. You try to touch the back of your head, but fail. You seem to be tied up. Well, okay. This is definitely not normal. At least now you recognise where you are. It's Innsmouth Town Hall Square. At least 50 villagers have gathered around you. They have huddled together in small groups and are deep in conversation. Relaxed, they rest on their pitchforks and have thrown their fishing nets loosely over their shoulders. Now and then they grin at you, start complaining or cry for help. Well, honestly, I really didn't expect this when I came to your town. I paid my money for the bed and breakfast and the all-inclusive experience, but I really wasn't expecting this. I mean, good lord, you're not going to get a very good review on Yelp when I get home. I demand to see whoever's in charge here. If all else fails, you decide to wallow in self-pity. After all, you have no clue how you got into this situation. Wonder if those gangsters have also stolen your wallet and emptied your bank account. Do they have your apartment key? Have they already been to your crappy apartment in Boston? What about your goldfish, Al? You really should have fed him again before you left, damn it. You're going to lose everything. Everything. But they'll never take away your online private detective license. A worn down boot suddenly appears in your field of vision. Already awake? A voice croaks from above. With great effort, you manage to look up to see who dares to interrupt your fit of self-pity. It's the leader of the group, Abraham. He looks down on you triumphantly. I don't know how I can identify him as Abraham. Perhaps he's got his name tag on? I don't know. Still, from where you are, you can see all the small tumours that are sprouting from his chin. Yuck! Say involuntarily. If you've offended him, he doesn't show. He gives you a dirty grin. I hope you enjoyed your stay at our little town, landlubber. Yeah, I hate it. Enjoyed it? I love it here. Hey, it was the best day of my life. I mean, okay, the bus in wasn't brilliant, but I had a fantastic time down on the beach. Whether you enjoyed it, I love it here, you shout enthusiastically. The man blinks. What? But what? Yes, why precisely? The fresh air or the nice people? Oh, the people. In their weird costumes? That was a great time. Nice people, is the answer. Nice people with their sad faces, hunchbacks, and other physical deformities. People who give you the creeps as they continue to watch you silently. There is anonymity in Boston. So next to you on the green line could be on fire, and you wouldn't pay them much attention. It could have been the fresh people. Yes. Damn! The man whistles as if impressed. You're a tough guy, I'll give you that. Wonder how long you will last when you're on fire. Fire? When you ask for a more detailed explanation, you are grabbed by the arms. Some fishermen have silently approached you without you noticing. They jerk you up in the air and carry you over the square. After a few yards, they slow down. The ground they're walking on seems less solid. You're standing by a stake. Two men in rags and gross bulges on their necks undo your handcuffs and then tie your arms around a central pole. The remaining villagers have interrupted their chatter and are coming closer. What's all this about? Help! Or try to loosen the try to loosen the shackles. Well, not slackles, as I was trying to kill them. It's the accumulation of slack, you see, which allows you to loosen the shackles. You tug on the ropes, twist, and turn your wrists as far as you can. No luck. The handcuffs are not particularly well attached. You can feel their loose fit. It's just that they're strong enough to hold someone like you. Finally, about time. Somebody shouts annoyed and drowns out all other conversation taking place in the town square. Looks like someone finally managed to light a torch. Solemnly, the men march towards you, and in awe, the other villagers make way for them. Not everyone in Innsmouth can light a fire. I mean, do people in Innsmouth have lighters? Or fire starters? No? Alright, well. Two of the men remain with the other spectators, and the torchbearer continues along until he stands before you and the stake. He turns his back on you and begins to speak to the eclectic audience. Brothers and sisters! Yes, Abraham! Several people respond. It says a lot about the people Innsmouth's gene pool. I see, we're doing the brothers and sisters joke. I was thinking it was because it was Abraham, but it wasn't described as Abraham before, you see. Quiet! Growls immediately. I mean everyone present. Satisfied, he solemnly spreads his arms. You can see that the hand in which he holds the torch is a single flap of skin wrapped around the log. The hour approaches, and before you stands our tribute to Dagon. We share the sacrifice and the blessing, for we are faithful children of the... He falls silent. A dozen tourists walk out of the next alley along. The villagers look surprised and exchange baffled looks. Some look to Abraham for help. Embarrassed, Abraham drops the torch. Do I cry for help or do I remain silent? I'm going to remain silent. I have not cried for help so far. You remain silent. Another thing is rather unpleasant. Sure, the degenerates want to set you on fire and sacrifice you to some god. The point is that they picked you for it. Out of all the travellers in this town, they chose you. For example, this guy who is constantly shoveling white french fries into his mouth, they didn't pick him. While a blonde hipster who has the nerve to take selfies of himself and the stake with yours truly on it, they didn't pick him either. All these tourists were carefully considered, and only you were found to be worthy enough for the stake. I mean, I didn't cry out because I thought they would thought it was some sort of performance art. The tourists mingle with the people, but the atmosphere remains stiff and awkward. The villagers once again prove to be lousy hosts. The tourists soon move on to the next attraction of the Innsmouth nightlife. Abraham the torch thrower hums and haws for a few minutes until all tourists have left the town square. Thanks. He mumbles sheepishly with a side glance in your direction. It was really decent of you not to make trouble. Don't worry about it, man. Never mind, you say bored. You say goodbye to life and the last thing you want to see in your last moments on Earth are goddamn tourists. Wretched tourists. Any last words? 9/11 was an inside job. I love pineapple on my pizza. I regret nothing. I regret nothing, because those last two are rubbish. Some people give you a round of applause, but the majority of the audience stands there awkwardly. Abraham just shrugs, and he puts a burning torch on the wood. With a crackling sound, the fire consumes the first dry branches. sight of the spreading flames makes you panic. Brings you to peace. Just go for the death. Oh, fire. The naughty rebel among the four elements. The slowly approaching flames take you back to your childhood. Evenings under the stars, which you've watched on the TV. Oh, television. You regret everything. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Killing a fire sure takes a long time. Well, yeah. I need to be properly cooked. I don't think they basted me beforehand. I don't think I've had any herbs or anything rubbed into me. This is amateur. It doesn't take long for the whole pile of wood to be on fire. The heat is unbearable. Your skin hurts so much that you almost lose consciousness. But no such luck. Only when your clothes are singed, blisters form in your cheeks, does your circulatory system finally collapse. At the stake, you burned alive. Never again cold cases. And there we go. Let's go to the main menu. See if we can see it under the achievements. I didn't get... I mean, there it is. But I didn't actually get a Steam achievement for dying at the end here. Which is very surprising. Maybe there's ones for getting, like, 10 of them or something. Hey, that's weird. Alright, where's... Is it this one? I don't know. No, that's settings. Alright, don't want to delete progress. It must be this then. We explored 29% of Innsmouth. Okay, yeah, those must be areas that you can't go back to or something. The harbour, they must be endings that you can find. Oh, I don't know. No, what's that one? That's where I'm burned alive on the stake. What's this? I guess this must be where I was knocked unconscious. I guess. Can't do anything except highlight over these things. I can't. If I press home, that's just going to take me back. Wow, look at all of these. Escape? Oh, is that when the people turned up? Well, I think I'm going to end it here, he said. Let's go back over to the incredibly well thought out ending screen that I definitely set up and didn't just throw up 2 minutes before by going, whoops, I've forgotten about stars and things. Yes, I mean, Innsmouth Case is interesting, and I believe I will come back and play it again to see some more of it, but I do not think it is necessarily a great game to stream, etc. I mean, certainly, if I was doing the weird, silly voices all of the time, it might be more fun to do, but I don't have that in me right now. So, hey, there we go. So instead, I will say thank you so very much for being here, whether live and in person or later on the VOD. I do appreciate each and every one of you. You're amazing, and you took the time out of your day to watch me do this, or at least have me on in the background while you did something else, which is how I watch things as well. So no judgments here. I will be back tomorrow. I do not know what game it is. I might go back to the old games that I had before I took my incredibly long break, which I didn't intend to take, but did anyway. So that might be Vampire Swan Song tomorrow. I think that was the one that was on the list for Mondays. I will have to double check. Or it could be something entirely new and exciting because, we're back in October. So we're back at the spooky month again. So maybe I should be doing more spooky games. I mean, Vampire would probably pass for that as well. But I don't know which one it will be until later on today when I have made that decision. But until then, I have been Richard, and this whole thing, it could be something with mindless shooting. I could just do mindless shooting. I do have Doom, actually. That would be very fitting for October with its spookiness. But anyway, I have been Richard, and this whole thing has been LMTDTMFFR, or, say it with me now, limited time offer, no vowels, and you all have fun.